Several witnesses took the stand today testifying about the alleged financial crimes of Alex Murdaugh without the jury present. Now, if Judge Clifton Newman allows those financial crimes to be brought into the murder trial, the testimony would then have to be repeated for the jury. It could extend this trial by a number of weeks. A long and emotional day of testimony as several of Alex Murdaugh's former colleagues took to the stand. State prosecutors argue the evidence of Murdaugh's crimes establishes a pattern of behavior and speaks to his mindset the night of June 7th.
And all of this going on in his life, which is a stellar series of events like nothing ever seen, is certainly relevant for the jury to consider when they consider a perfect storm that was arriving for this man on June the 7th.
Former PMPED CFO Jeannie Seckinger confronted Murdaugh about missing funds the day of the murders. Prosecutors say it pushed Murdaugh over the edge.
So on June 7th, I was going to make another run at finding out from Alex if we had the information. I went upstairs to his office is on the second floor, and he was leaning on a file cabinet outside his office. And he turned and looked at me when I came up and said, "What do you need now?" And gave me a very dirty look. And at that point, I told him that I had reason to believe that he had received the funds himself and that I needed proof that he had not.
Murdaugh's longtime friend Chris Wilson growing emotional when recalling his friend's betrayal.
He was one of my best friends, yes. And I thought, he was, and I thought he felt the same way about me.
You feel that way now?
I don't know how I feel now, Mr. Waters. I was so mad. I'd loved the guy for so long. And I probably still loved him a little bit, but I was so mad.
Meanwhile, the defense says the theory is illogical and that testimony will confuse the jury and prolong the trial.
How murdering Maggie Murdaugh and murdering Paul Murdaugh eased his financial stress, it didn't. There's no financial gain, as we said. There's no life insurance. There's nothing to be gained by it.
Emphasizing the state has continuously come up short on evidence directly linking Murdaugh to the killings of his wife and son.
I mean, they've got, a whole lot more evidence about financial misconduct than they have about a murder.
Using one of the witnesses that was able to testify before the jury today, a senior SLED agent, the defense used her to highlight the lack of evidence.
You saw no evidence of blood, tissue, or anything that would indicate somebody had showered or washed off or bathed to remove evidence of a crime from them. Is that what you're telling us?
Yes, sir. There was nothing visible to me.
See any evidence of any clothes that had been involved in any sort of altercation that had left blood or tissue or brains? See anything like that in any one of those rooms?
No, sir. I didn't find anything like that.
Two other witnesses, a Snapchat representative and an investigator with the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office, testified before the jury as well. Now, court will resume tomorrow morning at 9:30 when Judge Clifton Newman will hear from more witnesses in this case to decide whether or not these financial crimes can be brought in, if and how much of that will be able to be presented in Alex Murdaugh's double murder trial. Reporting in Walterboro, Riley Benson, Count on 2.